Get ready for the smackdown. Get ready for the smackdown. How you gonna react when you're put in your back now? 'Cause there's no turning back when you're facing the smackdown.
Alright guys, my Vernon Kid is back. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody had a pretty good week. Back again with section 14. And the first two fights went along pretty smoothly for this section. So here's the third fight. And this one comes from, as you saw, my friend Juan, jctwitedragon. He pits the likes of Talia Al Ghul versus Karai versus Elektra Nachios. So we have DC versus, I guess you could say, IDW versus Marvel. Makes sense. But all three of these ladies are fierce. And let's talk a little bit about them, each one, before we give our assessment. Okay, let's kick it off with Talia Al Ghul. There's Catwoman, and then there's Talia. Two women that Bruce has fallen head over heels with at one point in his life. Talia being the one they had a child together, Damien. Talia, as you all know, is the daughter of Talia Al Ghul. And this woman here is as clever, as dangerous. She's a master. Let's put it like that. Now, there are times it may look like she is good, and then it may there's times where she follows pretty much in the footsteps of her father, just that she goes about doing it a little differently. And we've seen that over the years of showcasing. She's in between both her father and Bruce. Talia has no bow. She has no ability. She has no powers. She has no superpowers. But she's been exposed to the Lazarus pits on many occasions that leaves her at peak physical form. So she's always in peak physical performance. Just as advanced as perhaps even Bruce or other elite heroes from Gotham, pretty much. And of course, the pit has increased her lifespan as well. Due to her training with, the League of Assassins, thing like that, Talia is a master of both armed and hand-to-hand combat. She is knowledgeable pretty much in many styles of weaponries, from simple to the more modern to even the more ancient styles, more ancient weaponry. She's a great tactician. She's dangerous, just put it like that. With all that, she's even very seductive, and we've seen that plenty of times as well. So, as always, basically, bottom line, guys, is don't sleep on Talia. Don't sleep on her at all. So we move on to Karai. Karai, coming from the Ninja Turtle series, she first appeared in Ninja Turtles Volume 1, issue 52. That story arc was called, the storyline was City at War, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one, guys. Karai would become, now depending on where you take it from, because before IDW took over, she was the leader of the New York City branch of the Foot Clan. And she worked her way up through, she was just a foot soldier, typical foot soldier in Japan. She quickly worked her ranks up, and she was able to earned the honor of gaining control of the foot in New York City. Now, Karai is another one of those deadly women that I'm talking about, that has no superpowers or special abilities to speak of. However, she is considered one of the most deadliest characters in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle universe. Yeah, as way up there as this with the Shredder. Her skills are often, sometimes even considered maybe even greater than the Shredder, believe it or not. And she is perhaps one of the few people in that universe that is at the same level of skill like Leonardo in terms of ninjutsu and katana weaponry. She has dedicated her life to studying the art of ninjutsu, and she's considered one of the modern masters of the form. That's pretty good. And knowledgeable in many other weapon fighting styles as well. But she usually consists of a single sword. She is clever, she is cunning, and she's able to improvise in tight situations. I've seen Karai looked like Karai she's at the end of her luck, and somehow she's able to get out of it, improvise to her advantage pretty well quickly. Overall, she's a very powerful ally, guys, and sometimes, but more importantly, she's a deadly foe. Alright, so let's move on to Elektra Nachios. Alright, if there's anything I need to say right here and now, thank you, Mr. Frank Miller, for creating the character. Okay, let's put it like that. Elektra, probably being one of the most fierce and most fearsome of Matt's past girlfriends. She is renowned as being the best, the greatest assassin in the Marvel Universe. Now, currently, as we all know, she's a part of the Thunderbolts now. I don't read that book, so don't ask me why. Her origin has been really revived a lot of times, but the main purpose is her father was killed. She would later, be held captive by some hostages. Matt saved her. They started a relationship. You name it, everything goes from there. But we all know the most famous thing about her, she was killed by Bullseye, that famous death scene, of course. And she pretty much was resurrected back to life by the Hand. Now, Elektra as well is definitely a very excellent and elite assassin. Her abilities in hand-to-hand combat, weapon combat, is nearly unmatched, almost to the degree that she can engage most of the superpowered individuals in the Marvel Universe and be on their level. Now, her weapons of choice, two katanas. Two sais, two custom-made sais. And her martial arts skills, believe it or not, guys, and I've seen this at one point, they're kind of on like a mystical level, in a sense. So that kind of actually has a little bit of a different take on her as well, being that she's able to, I've seen it where those mystical martial art levels of skill she's been able to manipulate people's minds into making them think that, seeing illusions, things like that. But she's able to do a lot of things that, you would expect somebody that is so elite like her to do. For example, she can kind of control her body functions, such as slowing down her breath rate, her heart rate, her blood flow. She has incredible stealth skills, so good that she's able to sneak up on people like Daredevil with no problem, you know, and Daredevil not even knowing she's there. But Elektra definitely is fierce as well. So let's get to the battle, guys. The battle between these two girls. This would be interesting, very much. In a sense, because all three of these women are very skilled, highly trained by their respective teachers or clans or whatever they train them. Each of these women can handle themselves quite well with weapons, hand-to-hand combat, you name it. So this fight will push each girls to the limit. All three of these women to the limit. And it could come down to the point where there's really it with all their skill, it needs to take one mistake to capitalize on one another. That's pretty much how it always sometimes comes down. When you're too skilled and you go against another skilled opponent, it comes down to the measure of knowing one's opponent very well. And to me, guys, I don't see really a clear-cut winner in my sense. I kind of see this maybe a draw in my sense, but I think each woman will have highly respect for each other, in my opinion. Where they probably will walk away feeling a little good about each other, like, you know, maybe I can call on for her for help at times. Imagine these three girls working as a team. That would be even fiercer. So for me, guys, I'm calling it a draw. I really don't see a really clean-cut winner in this, in my opinion. But I'll leave it up to you guys. Talia, Karai, or Elektra. And I will see you guys in a few with the next fight, which comes from me. And we got Nightwing versus Relento versus Dwayne Taylor Night Thrasher. I'll see you guys in a little bit. And you guys know the slogan. Battle on, people. Battle on.